Hi there, I'm Paul Goodenough. I'm a writer producer for things like Have I Got News for You, Warhammer, How to Train Your Dragon, Doctor Who, Sherlock, that sort of stuff. And I'm also an environmentalist. I work with lots of big international charities and governments to help stop the decline of species and the climate collapse. And lastly, I'm also a futurologist. So I work with governments, organisations, and basically businesses to try and understand what the future might hold, both from a technological perspective, but also a societal perspective. And I'm basically here to talk to you about Extinction 2040, which is the comic that myself and Ian have created, which very much sits at the kind of the bisection of that Venn diagram, those three different things that I do. And if you didn't already know, we're facing a very uncertain time in the environment and also society, and the two are very closely interlinked. So what will very likely happen as global temperatures rise, what will happen is large, and I mean massive swathes of the global south, so everything below the equator, will become so hot and arid that we can't grow food there and people can't sustain life there. And as that happens, what we'll find is that the global food production will go through the floor. There's way too many people to sustain the amount of food that we way too little food to sustain the amount of people we have. So we'll see a massive migration of people moving upwards throughout the world, moving from the global south to the global north in an attempt to basically be able to find a life for themselves. And what that will do is very likely to lead to a polarization. Some countries will try and welcome and work with people moving upwards, through northwards, I should say. Others will take a far further extreme view, which is that we cannot live with the amount of food we already have, let alone letting billions of migrants come into our country. And that's the backdrop for Extinction 2040. And what we do is we follow a group of young people, a group of teenagers who are basically conscripted from Britain to become a border force. And their role is to patrol the areas, patrol the borderlands between the global south and the global north, and stop people from wanting to come to Britain. And what you'll see in Ian's beautiful art here is that the people who are migrating north, they're not different to us. They have Apple iWatches, they have technology, they have money. What they don't have is a home. And that's very key to Extinction 2040, is that these are normal people, if that's not a loaded term, but these are people very much like you and I. And they're people who have a situation forced upon them and they're just trying to survive. They just want to live. And a little bit like Charlie's War, we get to see both sides of the both parts of the argument. Sorry, my computer's went a bit strange there. And what we do is our empathy and our sympathy doesn't just lie with our main characters, but also lies with the people that they have to deny, the people they have to make sure cannot enter Britain. And without going into too much detail, because I'm really keen that you actually read it for yourself, the story is, it really does bisect both societal issues and environmental issues. And within those, it basically forces people to take sides that they wouldn't normally. It takes people who are normally perhaps rational, centralist people and forces them to either side of the political divide. And therein is where we get our drama and where we get our spectacle and our action. And in it, there isn't any way in this world that people can just get by without fighting. And that's the core concept behind Extinction 2040. And I'm sure you'll agree with me, some of the artwork that Ian has made and some of the artwork I've just seen on issue 2 is just out of this world. It really is a thing of beauty. And he's made my words and my ideas sound exponentially better than anyone else could have done. He's perfect for this role. So yeah, if you want to hear more about this, both myself, 77, and also Ian, of course, we're all on social media. So do follow the 77 or myself, Paul Goodenough, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this a lot more. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.